BooBaes. BooBaes.
My name's, howdy. Welcome to BooBaes. And my name is Caitlin.
And my name is Joshua.
That's right. We're your baes.
BooBaes. Yes, we're back in the
BooBaes.
house, ready for some frights.
Some fright. Some... I had a lot of feelings about this movie.
Okay.
Going right into it.
I feel like it was really polarizing because it's like I wanted to love it, but I also hated it at the exact same time.
Exactly. Like there's so many parts that I was like, okay, yeah,
It's going good. And then,
I was like,
it would, some dumb decision or some, exactly.
There's one part where my notes just go like, they're just massive. Ha ha ha. Here, you want me to scoot that back a little bit?
That's perfect.
All right. So what are we watching today?
We're watching He's Out There, which is a film that I found just basically scrolling because I was just like, I wanted to watch something that I'd never seen.
Yeah.
Like,
because I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, me either. And
ever. I
wanted I don't know. It's a 2018 film. I found it on Netflix if anybody's interested, right? I found it on Netflix. I believe so.
Okay, yeah, I watched it on Prime. It's free on Prime as well.
You know what? I think I was on Prime. I'm sorry, I'm getting them all confused. But yeah, I watched it. I didn't, honestly, I read the premise of it and then I was just like, click, let's do it.
Yeah.
I didn't even like look at reviews or anything. Which I mean, nowadays, it's kind of hard to make a strong horror movie, I would say.
Yeah.
Just because we're also fucking jaded and like don't give a shit anymore. And like, we've seen it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, the premise of it was really interesting to me, which is basically like on a vacation in a remote lake house, a woman and her two young daughters fight to survive after falling into a terrifying and bizarre nightmare conceived by a psychopath.
Yes.
Which really hooked me in.
Yeah.
I was like,
sounds great. Sounds like classic
Like
kind
how
of slasher.
Yeah, and which I did, like, there were a lot of times throughout the movie where I picked up vibes of like, it really set the tone of like The Strangers mixed with like Friday the 13th. Because it's on a lake.
Yeah.
And then mixed with like Cabin in the Woods, which is funny that you'd mentioned Cabin in the Woods because I was like, oh, I'm getting like similarities a little bit, not too much, but it's basically just because it's a cabin.
I watched Cabin in the Woods that I don't even remember it. I'm excited for when we do ever get to cover it because I feel like it's going to be a first time watch again for me.
That's awesome.
At this
I
point.
love those moments.
So fun fact though, not fun fact. I mean, just the little girls, they're actual sisters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're both. So their names are Anna and Abigail Pniowski. Pniowsky. That's probably not at all how you say it.
Closer than what I would have done.
Pinoyski. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the mom is Yvonne Stravosky.
Stravosky?
Yeah. So I don't know what these names are, but they're intense.
But the little girls are actual sisters in real life.
Yep. They're actual sisters in real life. They didn't really look
They
too
didn't
similar.
look similar at all.
So I was like, oh, okay.
That was a surprising fact.
Some people, their siblings and them just don't look the same.
That's true.
So that's totally fair.
And sometimes sibling is a subjective word, even though it shouldn't be.
True.
I mean, like somebody can say someone, I don't know. Anyways, all right, but they share the same last name, so that works out.
Yeah, so I thought that was
It could not be biological. Like it could
That's
be, they
true.
could still
They
be
could be
sisters,
like
but they're like
twin-
marriage or like
they could be twins.
paternal. Yes, they could be.
But they could be cousins.
Yeah, and maybe the mom adopted the daughter at some point, so now they are sisters.
Maybe.
That's a lot, though. We're not going to get into that.
Anyways.
Yeah, he's out there.
He is out there.
He's out there. So on initial, like when the movie first started, did you have like, were you like already thinking like, oh, this is going to be a shit show?
So I was like, okay, the weird,
I
yeah, with the weird mouse rhyme thing to bring us in, I was like,
oh, that was
okay.
so much.
It was.
I was over it.
First off, it went on for a little too long.
Kids annoying intro.
Yeah,
annoying
didn't like
kid playing.
I didn't like the inflection that the child was giving, but most of the time I just don't like anything that children do.
Yeah, that was it was like creepy, but not in like the creepy way that I want to be creeped out. It was like in the creepy way of like I was getting triggered.
It was giving us also, I could tell that it was setting us up for the the ending.
Mm-hmm.
With the flashes, it was giving clearly. I mean, we saw the wrecked car. We saw a bloody, dripping something. We saw a rock with some blood on it. And so
like
I was
a foreshadowing.
Like, yeah. I was like, okay, so we're getting a little bit of the
aftermath.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get what actually transpired.
And they really play on this children's book
they do.
a lot. So basically it's like something about this little mouse and it's hiding, and it says the darkness hides in the light of day. Better run, little mouse, before it comes out to play. Kind of felt like that was like.
Did you write that down?
I did.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, good. Girl, the resonant. It must have stuck with you.
I really memorized this whole book.
Yeah.
Well, I probably could have with how much they fucking quoted.
They brought it up. Yeah. Brought it up.
And then I was like, what the fuck kind of children's book is this though? Like,
it's
this
a little
is
dark.
Dark as
a little
fuck.
demented. Yeah. But it's the way that they found this book in the lake house. So
which we find out later.
Which obviously don't go reading books you find in lake houses or cabins, because it's either like cabins. Necromancy or like a fucking demonic children's book.
I love camping. I love cabins. Surprisingly, even after all this, I'm like, yeah, I'd still do it.
I'd do it too.
Yeah.
Especially now.
The filter on everything, it was a little distracting to me. It was so filtered.
Yeah.
Like their skin tones looked
not
like
natural.
Is palette a word? That's a word.
It's a word, but I don't know if it's the correct usage, but I'm going to allow it.
Okay, me too.
Because it's our podcast.
I felt smart.
Do it. You are smart. You are smart. You are kind, and you are important.
What's smart?
But yeah, no, I see what you mean.
It was a little I
noticed it. It didn't bother me as much, but I did notice it.
It was just like there were some movies where it has the filter.
You felt the same way about Scream 4 too. Remember that filter? It like threw you off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But then like in like The Ring, the 2003
with that
edition. Yeah, that I didn't mind that because it felt more subtle.
And it's more fitting to the tone of the story as well.
Yeah. This one was just like I don't know. It was a little. If they could have just, turned it down, the intensity of it just a little bit, and I would have been like, perfect.
Yeah.
But who knows? I'm not a director.
But basically, we're starting off with like the mom and the young girls. They're going to go to the cabin in the woods. Yeah. So and they're on their way. They're packing up.
Of course, we have a dick ass dad.
Yep.
Who's not coming because of some work deal, which is like
he's gonna meet them up later.
He's probably
cheating on his wife.
Yep.
No. He's got to go say bye to the other family before he spends the weekend with this one.
Yeah.
But
going on a business trip.
Literally down the street. And so yeah, it starts off there. They're kind of setting up that little tone of between the parents, but also like the dad necessarily at this point and up until the rest of the movie isn't that much of a like player in the game at all. Yeah.
He's kind of stupid.
Yeah. And so we have them going on the way to this cabin, this lake house that they go to apparently like every year. They end up meeting they end up at like the fence, the gate that allows them to go into the property. And they can't get it open. So this like neighbor dude or whoever is driving by and stops by in his truck. Yeah, creepy. And it's giving all those like red herring vibes of like, oh, this guy's up to something. Because even the daughters are like very questionable of like who are you?
Why are you walking up to our car right now? Because it was like it felt like a little bit pedophilia.
Creepy pasta.
I was like, yeah, I put Owen being creepy as hell, but I put he's probably a good guy, but fuck the way he's acting.
Literally, because that's how they want to throw you off, ski you a little bit.
He says he's the local security because there's no one out there, no one else out there except for his family. Like that ain't
suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sus.
Well, year round, I guess there's no one else out there, so there could have been other people on the lake
visiting, camping.
It just didn't really clarify that. Yeah, they're just all dead probably.
And so, he gives this like little foreshadowing story, tell about like this family who used to live there as well, but the boy went missing.
Johnny.
Which is really like funny to me that like they go there every year and they own this property, but they didn't know this. They didn't know that Owen. Guy. Like it was all already kind of like there's some holes here, you guys.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused about that because like especially later on one of the little girls says, I think it's Maddie. She's like, no, the playroom scares me, kind of thing. And so I was like, clearly they've been here before. How in the world have they not met the only neighbor there?
Yeah,
and I don't know. And then Owen was like, I was like, he trying to get in her pants.
Yeah, for sure.
He was. Real fast. So the title card when we get it. I did actually like the little scared mouse imagery.
Yeah.
There's like the little mouse, and then there's a big shadow behind it, and then it just says he's out there on little red writing. And I was like, okay,
You like that? Yeah.
that was subtle. Literally, it was so fast.
It was
if
a
I would
flash.
have blinked, I would have missed it.
I think I did miss it because I was probably writing a note down.
But yeah, I thought it was a cute little way to bring in the title. That was because like they're like scared, trapped mice, basically.
They are, because it is very cat and mouse for most of the movie. And we have the daughters' names are Kaylee and Maddie, and the mom's name is Laura.
Yes.
Just so we can get that established. And so yeah, like basically the mom's getting the house set up for their stay. The girls are outside.
John was carved on the fence.
Oh, that's right. We did see the name John.
They
carved
like
on the
to
fence.
show us the word John a lot.
They do.
Carved
Yeah, it
into
does.
things.
It ends up being on a fence, on a book,
Yeah.
But we have mom getting the house ready for this whole, weekend or whatever trip they're supposed to have, unpacking everything.
It's
the
a
girls,
cute house.
It is. It's very
loved it.
nice.
I was like,
the girls
damn.
are outside,
It'd be picturesque as fuck. Just sitting
especially
there
on
with,
the
like,
lake. Yeah,
mug of coffee in the
and they had a
morning
little
when
dock
it's
on that
foggy.
lake. They got money. How do they have a lake house? They must, or they inherited it.
Maybe, or they just literally rent the same one every year, and they just like maybe they got a timeshare.
Oh, that's true. People be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So their kids are outside, Miss Maddie and Kaylee, and they're swinging. They're having a good little time, doing what kids do, being stupid because then they see a red cord.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
because they
a
hear
little
noise
bit before that, they're all like they're still playing and stuff, but that's when the mom gets the phone call from the dad.
That's right.
And he's picking up apology gifts essentially. And I did like when he gets to the counter and sets down of course he gets a fucking music box first off. I was like, of course.
It's got to be creepy somehow.
Yeah. And then the bear, and then he asks for the 2 nicest bottles of Merlot, and the clerk just fucking stares at him and goes, "So what'd you do?" Like,
literally.
You're obviously picking up apology gifts.
Yeah.
But this is
It's
where
just
you
missing
see
the flowers.
once the mom hangs up the phone with him there, it's where you see that she puts the phone back in the car, which is an important part
detail
for later. But yes, then the little kids, that's also
Which
where
I'm
the
like, who
little
does
girl.
that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, just keep it in your fucking pocket.
Literally.
Well, I guess she had a dress on. Put
But
it in your
still.
fucking boob. Something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but
But this is where the little girl says the playroom is scary as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And so then they're outside.
But yes, then they're outside. There's a lot of fucking trees. When they pan up over, I was like, damn, that's trees for miles. I was like, is this a rainforest?
They are in the woods, quite literally. There's a lot. And so they find this red cord, and after they're swinging, and they start to follow it, and it's like, like whenever people who are like diving or doing stuff or like don't want to get lost, they're trying to follow a cord kind of thing. And so in my mind, I'm just like, clearly this red cord is evil. Like, where the hell is this going to?
Yeah, it's leading. That's suspicious. Like, now if I ever have kids, I will tell them I've got new paranoias. Like
about the cords.
Don't follow weird little cords that you find, even though I would have 1,000% followed that shit if I was a kid. And then if I saw that tea party, I would have been like, oh, dope. And I would have fucking ate that cupcake too.
You think so?
Yes. And now I'm going to tell my kids, I fucking ate mud as a kid. Of course I'm going to eat a cupcake.
I think so, but I think maybe I would have been suspicious. I don't know. I can't say anything. I don't remember what my youth was like.
My we literally grew up in like a very similar situation. My brothers and I played in the woods all the time. And because we lived on a mountain up in North Carolina. And then we would just sit there and like make our own little.
Yeah, I would make potions
smash herbs
and, like,
and eat those. And then mud and fire ants. Like, we'd eat everything. So I 1,000% would have ate that cupcake. I'd love to think
you were like
that
15 doing this.
Yeah, I'm 15 eating fire ants and dog food and cat food. We'd play Fear Factor a lot.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
Did you ever eat a roach?
No.
Just fire ants.
Thank
no
God,
other insects.
Yeah, just fire ants. Ew. Oh, the thought of eating. Okay. Ooh.
Fear Factor though.
Anyways, this is some Hansel and Gretel shit.
Yeah, basically, they come up to in the middle of this. It's like going back and forth between them and the mom as well.
Mom's fit AF. She's changing.
Mom has a nice body. Like she was like really fit, which I guess does help throughout the movie. Yeah, that comes into play. But I really thought there was going to be some more like sexual focus on her because of the way like her eyes aren't blurred out later.
But there isn't.
Really?
Yeah, no, like
Which is good.
I thought he wanted her essentially
Mm-hmm.
because he's got to be about the same age because he said
You're right.
Owen is the same age.
And it's the way that I thought the same thing too, that like, why is the mom going to survive and not the kids? Because at a certain point, that picture that you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, she's now kind of comes to like, oh, what are the kids doing? Realizes that they're not out like on the swings. And obviously, like any parent is like yelling out for them, trying to find them. And then they end up on the front porch. She hears them. So they're coming in. But
and
it's the way
very clear that Maddie has
something. Yes. And I'm like, how does she not notice
Kayla
this?
does. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Kaylee?
Whatever it
Yeah.
is.
I think it's Kaylee. It might be Kayla, but it's the way that she clearly has something, but the mom is like...
They called her KK. Let's call her KK.
KK.
That was my nickname growing up.
Oh, really? Oh, KK. Yeah.
Even though my name is CK.
With the C. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh. CK.
CK.
I like CK.
CK. That is cute.
That's cute.
Let's change it.
CK.
That's my name now.
It reminds me of TK from Digimon.
Digimon.
Digital monsters. Sorry. And so, yeah, they are whatever coming back into this house, but she clearly has something. And this way the mom is oblivious until they get upstairs. And like the little girl also very clearly is like having something under her shirt and trying to put it underneath the...
She was not being sneaky at all.
She was not.
Literally the moment before that, like when she was walking up on the steps, I could tell
there's
she had something under her shirt.
Yeah, there's clearly.
She's clearly hiding something.
Yeah, and so the other Maddie's on the bed. At this point, does she say like that she's not feeling good?
No, I think she just kind of lays down.
Yeah,
and then
and so then the mom
she gets up to hide it, and the mom sees
kind of, but she doesn't see what it is, and she's like, "Show me," and then the little girl's like, "No, it's for Daddy," and then the mom's
she was like, "Is it alive?" And I was like, "Does this girl have a habit of bringing dead things into the house?
Or alive
Is she
things.
a cat?"
Yeah.
Like. Ugh. And then
creepy.
she was like, "Don't stink up the house." She's like, "It smells really nice."
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting cupcakes.
I wasn't either though. That was far from whatever I was thinking.
Yeah, I
it
thought she was
going to
have some sort of little dead animal,
or like some sort of like ritualistic like piece, or like some kind of sacred, like she found something she wasn't supposed to take kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
wasn't expecting
fucking cupcakes. And so yeah, these kids are now, we're getting to her reading the book to them, right, for the bedtime story.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, they're going down. They've eaten pizza. They're in their PJs.
Right. The little
reading the stupid book.
Reading the book, and the little girl Maddie, she doesn't feel well.
Yeah, she's like, I just want to go to bed. So at this
point, the mom gives that face of like, well, that's odd.
Yeah.
Like, so you clearly know like something's not right, but okay.
She's like, the story's not even done.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, most kids are like, you have to fight them to go to bed because they're like, I'm an adult. I want to stay up. And
right before that, I believe she was just talking to her husband on the phone, and he told her that he wasn't going to get there till like 11 or something like that. So she was still waiting on him.
Yeah, she knew he was gonna be there soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Maddie goes upstairs, and like at this point, I was like, she looks kind of sick. And then the older sibling, whenever they all get upstairs.
Yeah, they
go to bed.
They
and
all
she's
go to
being
bed.
A little creepy too.
And then
KK is.
Okay, and then she comes and tells the mom like, "Hey, like something's wrong with Maddie."
Before that too, whenever the mom goes back downstairs and is drinking the wine out of that little coffee mug, I was like, doesn't move.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
She punches that little... Okay, first off, what the fuck is this doll?
Oh, yeah, the doll.
This doll's creepy as fuck. I'm assuming they found it in the house as well. Terrifying. That looked like... Oh, God. It kind of reminds me of that one that when they got the BB out of my ear. It looked like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But not quite as, like, Leatherface.
Good reference. Good callback.
But yeah, this doll is creepy. But then anyways, the mom like kind of punts it with her wine glass, and I was like, bitch, we don't disrespect the dolls. Come on.
Not in cabins in the woods. Yeah.
For real. But yeah, then and then at this point, whenever she gets the phone call on the landline, and she walks outside, has left the front door open.
Yeah, I noticed that open. As well.
And she's out there talking to the dad, and then the line cuts dead. And she hears some shit moving in the woods.
Yeah.
And she's like, ooh.
Time to go back inside.
And this is what I was like, this is why I keep all my blinds closed. Fuck this. Like, because then something was clearly watching her from outside.
Yeah.
And looking in. You could see her moving throughout the house. And I was like, ugh. And then, then little KK comes to wake mom up. And the way she did it was kind of creepy too.
Yeah.
I think it's just the way
they're kids. They're creepy.
Yeah.
Regardless.
It's like standing at the door. Mommy.
Afu up.
Wake up. Yeah.
Afu up. Yeah.
And
And
it's
so
like,
she's coming to tell her that Maddie is like acting a little sus. And so they find Maddie, and the way that it pans up to her, I liked, because it kind of just like it brought on the tension of like, what's fucking wrong with Maddie? Because at that point, I just
And
thought like she was possessed or something.
she's in the playroom too.
Yeah, where she gets scared.
Where she was scared. And then, yeah, the way that it panned in, I was like, okay, also the little tent gave me Conjuring 2 vibes. And I was like, ooh.
Crooked Man.
But yeah, I was like, I swear if she's eating some sort of fucking animal, I'm going to be sick. I was like imagining, yeah, she was like kind of possessed and like eating something. Because her head was kind of down behind and you couldn't see.
And then with like the slow turn, like.
Thankfully, she wasn't.
She was just fucking sick. This little bitch ate something.
Poison cupcake.
Poison cupcake. So she throws up.
I liked that scene.
Yeah.
It was a really good like vomit scene. It gave me Sixth Sense vibes.
Yeah.
When the person under the bed throws up.
I can totally see that. It wasn't like too gross or anything.
No,
it's artistic.
It looked like
in a way.
It looked like. I mean, this poor little kid was fucking sick. And
yeah.
I mean, it was nasty, but I thought it was like honestly a really well
shot.
Like, good job
framed.
to that little girl. She did well.
The acting. And they find the little note.
Yeah, so she pukes again when they're in the bathroom, and
that's right.
Because she's like choking on something, and she's like, of course she's like 7 or something. Yeah. I don't know. She's got to be pretty young, and she's shoving her hands down her throat, and her mom's like, "Hey, get your hand out of the way. Let me get it," and pulls it out, and then just throws it to the side because she's worried about her daughter choking. Yeah. And then KK goes, "Mommy, what is that?" And then she picks it up. And it's a little ribbon with the word hello written on it, which is
creepy as fuck.
Creepy as fuck. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
And so my note just says like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I put what the fuck hello written on the ribbon.
Yeah.
And then it pans back to, so then it shows us, we never got to see the end of them following the rope. And so at this point it pans back to that, and it shows us that they found a tea party.
And they found the cupcakes.
Yeah, and there were cupcakes, and of course they were excited, and yeah. And
so Maddie ate her cupcake, but Kaylee was saving hers for her dad. And so that's whenever
PSA to all children and adults: don't eat random forest food. Random forest food you find
probably poison.
Yeah, put it back.
Probably toxic. Probably going to kill you.
Yes, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. And so the mom at that point goes, she's like finding the cupcake up there in the drawer. And then that's whenever I think she wants to like call her boo again, right?
Yeah,
her husband.
And she cuts open the other cupcake. First off, it's like filled with like green ooze.
Yeah, it's like,
I was like, is this
it
like
looks
Drano?
disgusting. Literally looked like it. And how did that little girl just like
I'm like, this tastes great.
Literally.
I was like, oh, I'm not gonna guarantee you whatever that gelatinous material is in there. It looked gross. Not yummy. The texture's got to be all wrong. Well, the little kids will eat anything. But yeah, then the other one said goodbye, and so that's a little bit creepy.
Yeah. And so they're at that point, I think she's trying to call her boo thing, right? And then like the landline's obviously cut, and then they start hearing noises upstairs.
Yeah, weird loud bangs. Yeah. It sounded like something rolling. I was expecting like a ball to come down the stairs.
A bowling ball, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's the way like, do you think that was like upstairs, like in the house, right?
Yeah,
it had to be in the house, not just a roof. Like that was someone like.
No, yeah, it sounded like someone was upstairs.
Oh, wow,
creepy.
cool. Yeah.
But yes, I think someone was in there. I liked the way that she did not hesitate to grab that knife at all. This bitch was like, phone lines are dead. We're hearing some weird shit. She grabs a knife immediately.
She's seen Dateline. She's seen some movies. She knows what's going on. Yeah. So then at that point, mom is going outside to the car because she wants to go she get the phone, right? The cell phone.
Yeah, and she's like, turn the lights off to see outside the window. And I don't know, it's the way that she left the kids in the dark. I thought it was smart. It was a smart move trying to like turn the lights off so she could see out, but then just dipping and leaving her kids in the dark. Like, turn the fucking light back on before you walk out the door, right?
Yeah. And at that point, was that before or after they've seen the picture?
This is before still.
Before, right? So, and also just quick note, I mean, I love the little girls. They did act pretty well for, I feel like, the most part throughout this movie, but there are some points where I was just like, the screaming is not just like applicated for all reactions.
Yes.
Like, they were screaming a lot.
They were. And then, but then I was trying to like imagine
a little
kid in that actual situation.
I was thinking of my
would
niece, and I was like, she would probably be terrified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were a few times where I was like, okay, KK, shut up. Like,
Yeah.
you need to grow up a little bit.
Slap her a little bit. Shake her up because she's losing her goddamn
There's
shit.
so many times where I was like, KK, you need to get your shit together. You're going to die. You are going to kill all of us.
Literally, she kept fucking up. I was so pissed at her every time she would make some stupid decision.
Like, I don't want to carry me too. I was like, bitch,
she can't carry the both of you.
You are like 9.
Or like whenever she's like trying to stall and like hold them back at the next
I was
scene,
like,
I was like, no,
go.
no.
Yeah,
she was quite literally a deer caught in headlights.
Yeah, which poor girl. Like, I understand.
But survival of the fittest. I would have said, nope. All right, bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been like, okay, we'll come back for you.
Literally.
But yeah, so yeah, she's out there. The phone is gone. She finds out, the mom, Laura does, when she gets to the car, and it's like, damn. And then my closed captioning kept calling it demonic giggling.
Okay. I don't even have closed captioning on, I don't think, at this time.
I did.
So I didn't see it.
So there's
but
all
I know what you were
little
hearing.
funny laughter
coming from the woods. Yeah.
It was really amplified. So I was just like,
I was like, how is that so loud? And how does it sound like surround sound?
yeah.
Like,
So I was just a little bit
because it wasn't
confused.
necessarily coming from a single spot. It was like
Everywhere.
yeah,
And
like
so-
this person or like set up literally speakers everywhere around the fucking
Which
area.
maybe he did
It was-
with what he does with the dad later.
and it was a long time plan. So yeah.
So who knows? Yeah, but the demonic giggling, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But then she looks in the back seat, and we find that the weird dolly is wrapped up in the car, which means he's already been inside that house.
Yeah.
He's already been in there, and I was like, that is creepy.
I was like, oh, it's a gift for mommy.
Yeah, and then the mom's like, okay, fuck, we need to get out of here. So she goes back in, and this is where little girl's like crying. I put little girl needs to stop crying and fucking run.
Yeah.
Like, she's sitting there, oh, she's carrying me too. And then, yeah, gets onto the porch, freaking out.
They're trying to get back into the vehicle. And at this point,
The window explodes,
yeah.
which I was like,
See,
is there a gun?
That's what I said. I was like, OMG, was that a gunshot? Because it like just like
Yeah.
or BB. It could have been a BB gun or
yeah,
something
or maybe
smaller.
a rock.
It's the way that it like just the way that it was like
It
the impact. It was very like glass shattering, like explosion almost.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
oh.
see anything.
Yeah.
It hit it, and it just, so I, at this point, was thinking, okay, maybe we do have a demon on our hands because of the demonic giggling and
Yeah.
stuff that we were hearing. And then, you know, the fact that she was weird and sick, like maybe there's some sort of hex going on. And
It's true. She could have been possessed or like something like that.
But I mean, I don't know. Once that window blew up, I don't know if I'd still try to get into the car. But okay.
At this point, did you think like John's got something to do with this? Where's this John guy? that
Oh,
was
I mean,
mentioned?
the moment John
was mentioned.
was
I was
mentioned
like,
at all, it's
is
like,
that-
okay, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe, I had a few different ideas in my head. I was like, maybe Owen's in on it. I was kind of hoping that the dad would come and kill them all. But that didn't happen. And then, but
Yeah,
I was like,
obviously
maybe
not.
I figured John was the person who was going to beat everything. That they made it so abundantly clear.
See, both. See, I thought Owen was gonna be involved too because he was gonna be there. Because at the beginning, when he told the story, there was two brothers, wasn't there? And one of them died. Didn't he say that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember that, but I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, they had like 2 kids, but like their son died, the
Oh,
younger son.
sad.
I don't know. So I thought like he could have been in on it as well.
And was the other okay?
Because I'm like also the way it was set up, there was like it was very intricate, like the tea party, the ropes, all the like noises going on.
It was. I mean, Homeboy is like he's putting in the extra work.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
like Michael.
And so anyways, the fucking window explodes, and at this point they're freaking out. I'm freaking out because I'm like, what the fuck is gonna happen
Yeah,
now?
what's going on? They get in the car,
Yeah.
and Mom's backing up, and I'm sorry, but the way these wheels came off, I was cracking up.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I was I think I wrote it down. Yeah. I was like, that looked fake as fuck.
It did.
But
And then the giggling is still happening from all around, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this giggling's a tad silly. But I will say, whenever like the mom fell out of the car, it looked like it fucking hurt. The way she hit her head and then her body collapsed, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
So basically, the wheels came off this vehicle, you guys. It's a very
On one
bad
side.
CGI moment, but like,
It looked like they literally catapulted off. Like,
yeah. And so
I guess he had just unscrewed all the lug nuts though.
yeah, and the wheels just came off,
Yeah.
literally. And so they're like flop-sided,
Mm-hmm.
and she's got to get these kids out now, and they're getting out. It's tough to get out. And then I put like these clown like laughs are ruining the mood of what's happening.
Yeah, it was ruining it for me too.
And I'm just like, okay, mom, get it together. So it's at that point they run back inside because there's nothing else to do.
Poor Maddie is like literally fucking dying at this point. She is wheezing so badly.
This little girl gonna die.
Poor little girl.
She needs medical attention ASAP.
Yes, and the mom runs upstairs, fucking drops all the Benadryl down the goddamn sink. She saves one pill, and I was like, girl,
I didn't get that.
She opened it, and then they all spilled in the sink.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously she's shaking from adrenaline, but like maybe don't fucking open it over the sink where you can waste. What if I thought at first she had wasted all of it, and then I saw she had saved a pill, and I was like, you could have literally just killed your daughter.
She could have, and that correlates with my notes because I'm like, okay, mom, get it together. This little girl's gonna die.
Yeah. And then she sits there and she's like, I liked that we got a non-mirror scare. Like, so there was nothing there in the mirror, but it gave us plenty the opening and closing of the
a good little fake out
cabinet. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, good, like that. And then she stood there for a little bit, like, looking in the mirror, and I was like, girl, your daughter is dying downstairs, and you just wasted almost all of the medicine. What the fuck are you doing? Get downstairs, feed your little baby this Benadryl right now.
Literally.
You dumb bitch.
And that's probably what she was saying in her mind, but couldn't even fucking move. But yeah, so she's goes and gives her the little Benadryl. But I mean, clearly, obviously, what is that gonna fucking do? This little girl's poisoned.
Yeah, and I mean, she is having some sort of like allergic
reaction
with her closing, like,
her
and
throat,
so hopefully it
breathe.
would, antihistamine would counteract some of that. But yeah, at this point, I mean, she's gonna just keep like the mom needed to, the moment she found out that was a poison cupcake, she needed to induce vomiting.
Yeah, she needs to go get her stomach pumped.
Yeah, like, and if she knows that she can't do that there, she needs to be shoving her fingers down that little girl's throat until she keeps throwing
up.
Yep.
Until there's nothing left.
Yep. And then pumping her full of water.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not poison control.
True that. 1-800-CK. So yeah, they're hearing more noises outside.
They're going to investigate, which is like,
why? But obviously at this point too, they're super like confused, I'm assuming, because they don't know at this point, like they haven't seen anything and anybody, so it's like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is going on? And so they get into the living room, right? And that's whenever the mom turns off the lights, right? Or
at this point that was earlier, but they're still on, and she's walking up to the window, and we get that nice little, I did like the shot of peeking right through the curtains where she's walking up, and you're like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. And she walks up to it, and that's whenever the photo's there.
Yep, the fun little family photo where only the mom is not scratched out.
Yeah, and
which is why I really thought
she was in a survivor. He wanted her something.
Yeah,
she was more important of a role.
She was going to be some sort of like queen or something. Like, you know, he wanted to make his own little family with her as the head of it.
That's which we never really get that explained. But yeah, there's a photo. Eyes are scratched out of dad, the little girls, but not mom. And then it's the way that dad should almost be there.
Yeah, at this point I was like, oh, and dad's rolling up, and I was like, dad's finna die.
So he's rolling up. He comes up and notices that like the fence, this gate, he can't get into the gate just like they couldn't get earlier. But he sees that little note that says "Follow me," and he sees a red cord, another red little cord, tied into the trees.
And at this point too, Kayla, I put Kayla, Maddie is gonna die if you don't get your shit together, because they were freaking out again. And this is where they go upstairs, and the mom's. And
that's right.
Or Maddie throws up onto the mom's arm, and then she's saying, well, daddy's already here. And she was like, what do you mean? And she said, he's under that tree. And I was like, please, 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 please do not let the girls see their dad's corpse. Yeah. I was afraid he was already dead, because he was like, we saw him like kind of driving up
earlier.
And he hadn't stopped yet. It was just, it kind of panned to him. And I was like, okay, yeah, the dad's about to die.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what,
But so then the mom's like, who is here? And then she looks out the window and there's just this figure of a man standing beneath the tree looking at them, and then he slowly raises his arm and waves.
Yeah.
And then walks off. And I was like, that was pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah.
That was. I was like, ooh.
I would be scared out of my mind. And it's the way that they like walk off and it pans to the book in the room and it's got John's name on it.
Yep. And it's like, oh, okay. I was like,
which was not there. I don't know if that was there before.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we never really saw the spine of the book.
Yeah, we didn't. But it's also the way that it gave me very like.
Why is it etched into that too?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It gave me very like when things get etched into things like in a magical way after the fact, not like it was always there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like in a spiritual demonic way. And I was like, huh, that's weird.
Yep, but the book was John's, so it's like, oh. But yes, now Dad gets out, gate's closed, finds that red string. And I put, do not follow that string, bitch. My bitch ass would have been like, it is fucking 11 p.m. at night.
There's no
We're
time.
not
playing these games.
We're not playing low games like this.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I would have been like, no, that's weird as fuck. And then I would have just kept getting through the fucking gate.
Yeah.
Like, I would have probably just walked around it, in all honesty, because he could have. I would have just parked my car, got my shit, walked in, been like, hey.
Trekked the rest of the way there.
Yeah, give me the keys. Because it's not like it was a long walk from the gate to the...
I don't think it wasn't. No.
And so I would have just been like, hey, give me the keys. I'm going to go, hey, I'm here, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have gone to follow that little red string. And he starts saying kind of the same thing, but he calls Laura and he's hearing her phone ring in the direction of where the string
in the woods, essentially. And so he's like, okay. And it's the way that he's like saying out loud too. He's like, what is this? Like, you know, y'all can prank me. Is this a prank?
Yeah, he was like, come on, can't we just prank me tomorrow?
Yeah. And so Dad, of course, starts following the red rope. And
he's like, okay, you got me. I'm scared. And I was like, yeah, you should be scared, bitch.
Yeah.
You about to die.
So he's outside and he's walking through. He's getting through all of this shit. It's dark as fuck. And it's the way that, like... He's using his phone like this. I'm like, turn on your fucking flashlight.
Yeah, it was clearly a smartphone. Like you had, I know you had a flashlight, bitch. Don't use your screen light. No one, I do that sometimes and then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I can't see anything.
But I did really like the way that like his acting and I guess the way that they had the lighting on that frame or that whole scene. Cause it did give the like, man, this dude is literally walking in the middle of the dark at night in the woods, like following a rope that says follow me.
Yeah. Fuck him.
All kinds of wrong. But yeah,
he stumbles upon a fun scene,
which is the little tea party kids table that the kids were at earlier. But now there's like this little tree family around it.
Yeah.
They're made out of trees and whatever, you know, just
lumber.
Kind of. And I mean, but like very like someone took time to carve these fuckers out.
Giant ass dolls.
Yeah, literally just sitting there. And at that point, that's whenever we
get to see homeboy's face plus creepy face guy. He looked like the
real murderer,
bacon wrapped chicken or something.
I actually liked the mask.
I did too.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
I thought it was creepy. Like it was very scary. It was effective.
Yeah. Whoa. No. If I saw that shit in real life,
I'd be freaking out.
I would have killed myself.
Especially if the man had the axe in his hand in tow. I was just like, no.
I put plus creepy. I put weird tree family plus creepy face guy. I like
just
that.
Like just like walks up to him and just like grabs axe. Okay.
Thank
Doink.
you.
Literally.
Let me help.
Literally. Is this the part where I die? Yeah. But yeah, so they're dad. I'm like, Dad's dead.
Yeah, but I put damn R.I.P. shit, Dad.
Yeah.
You suck, but you're dead.
Yeah.
And then this is again where I was like, please, 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 for the love of God, because the thudding happens on the roof.
Because it happens really immediately right after that.
Yeah. And I was like, I swear to God, if they show these poor little girls their dad's corpse, like,
throughout the third act of this movie, it's the way that I'm like, these little girls are either going to be so traumatized that they're not going to be able to function in life, or they're going to be so traumatized that they're going to turn into murderers, psychopaths.
I feel
because of like everything that's happening throughout this movie.
So young that this is happening. I was like, I mean, they could be just turn into total badasses like Sydney.
But it's
who knows?
It's a 50-50. One of them might, and the other one might be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they hear this loud thudding. They're like, "Fuck!" And then that's whenever Laura, the wife, starts hearing Sean's voice. being, and it's basically you're hearing what he was saying earlier in the woods, calling out for her.
Yeah, at first I was like, okay, it must have recorded him, but then I was like, oh, because then it starts line by line replaying what he was saying when he was in the woods, and so I was like, oh, okay, it just recorded that whole phone call, and it's just playing
it out loud, and so she's kind of getting confused, like, is that my husband or not my husband out there?
Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, I hope we don't hear. I hope we don't hear him being murdered. I was like, oh.
Very Scream 1 moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, no, even worse. She walks out and there's the little tape recording that she finds of like the conversation. So that's what she was hearing. And
it says, I'm home.
And then the rope just starts falling. And it's the way you're like, oh, fuck. And I love how the rope falls and it goes all the way and it like kind of plops there. And you're kind of left with like nothing for like a good 5-10 seconds.
A big rock comes down at first. And so I was like, oh. And then
the body gets thrown off. And so the body literally rose off, and literally just imagine your husband dead falling like right in front of you. And of course she's like screaming her head off.
I was like, oh fuck, there he is. Yeah, he's dead AF.
And
eyeballs ripped out.
They took his damn eyes.
She's having to like, I mean, obviously, and then obviously you just lost your husband.
And then the girls are like trying to come out. And she's like, no, don't.
Please don't look. Yeah.
Stay inside. And it's
poor girls.
Yeah. So, and it's the way that like they're, she's basically saying, what'd she say? Because they're like, is that daddy? Right? And she's like, it's not daddy. It's like, yeah.
And then they're like, yes, it is. I saw him. And she's like, no,
that's not daddy. And so, yeah.
Then the power gets cut. They're inside the house again. The power's cut. And I was like, the mom's trying to, she tells him to hold on to her fucking belt loops.
That's right. Yeah.
Because she asked Maddie if she can run. And then she's like, come on, like, we're going to run. And I was like, no, y'all need to hide.
Yeah.
I said, you do not
need to be running. There's nowhere that you could get.
Yeah. You don't need to be running out in the dark where you don't know shit.
Where would you even go?
Yeah.
It's just, obviously, you're miles away from any type of like help. So it's like, where would you go?
And yeah.
You're safer barricading yourself inside the house until morning light. And
because obviously whatever is out there is hunting you, and it has the upper hand. It clearly knows this land. You clearly don't. Yeah, you don't need to be risking your life running out there. You're exposed. You're literally, when you're not in the trees, you're in the wide open, and he could be in there, and who knows what he could have.
Yeah, I would have literally barricaded myself in some closet, locked all the doors, all the windows, tried to put like a barricade in front of that door, and then like be in there with like knives galore with the kids, and like just ready for him when he does come to like actually try and do the deed.
Yeah.
But you know, that's us ending the movie about 40 minutes too soon, so we can't do that.
So, of course, they run outside.
They run outside. Oh, my gosh. They get egged.
Yeah, so they run and they get to the fucking swing set. And I was like, oh, look, that's the same picture that was drawn in their book.
That's right.
And because the mom had mentioned it earlier, and she was like, did you draw this in the book? And then she was like, no, it's just been there. And, it's the same scene. It's two kids sitting on the swings with a person in between it, and the person was hanging, which they weren't hanging in the book, but anyways, and then the eggs start getting thrown at them.
I laughed so much.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, is that an egg? I was like, what?
Oh, he was throwing the eggs pretty hard. And I was like, this motherfucker's like, like Buddy the Elf with this like snowball
literally,
arm.
yeah.
I was like, this is this motherfucker with eggs.
Literally, the way it like hit the mom, and I was like, wait, what was that? And then the little girl got hit, and then I see them like on the house, and I'm like, they're literally getting egged.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, are you kidding me?
Which
the torment. The torment.
Yeah. Which then I was like, oh, because whenever the mom puts two and two together, she's like, oh yeah, like the fucking car. I'd asked your dad to get eggs. And so she was like, oh, we can get out.
Yeah.
So I think it was like important there, but like I at first was like, why the fuck eggs?
I didn't put it. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, it's because they were in the car. Okay. That's why there's some eggs.
John Homeboy was just getting anything he could.
He really was. I was just, it was a little, I don't know.
I laughed. I thought it was so funny. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, of all the things, like now they're just getting egged. I was like, that is sick torture.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and so these little girls are once again screaming their heads off, and
They make it back inside
they go
where they should
so
have been
go
the whole time.
in and out, in and out. So they go back inside this house cabin, and that's the way that at this point I'm thinking like, shouldn't this little girl be dead by now? But she's like keeping up with them.
Yeah, she is. I guess that Benadryl worked.
Yeah.
And they're standing there in the like kitchen, and one of those whole ass doll people gets thrown through the fucking window.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, okay, okay.
Oh my God! Yes,
He does
that
chunks
part.
it.
He chunks it through. I don't know why I didn't even remember that until now. I haven't seen this movie since Wednesday, you guys, or Thursday when we decided to watch it. But yes. Oh my God! And is that at that point? Hold on. Let me look at my notes. Oh my God! Yeah. So it's about to happen, but
I put he's basically just protecting his property, right? Like,
at that
he
point,
lived there.
yeah.
Y'all are invaders.
Oh my gosh! You know, because I. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, so the little thing gets thrown into there, and then they're freaking out.
And this is when they finally start to barricade themselves in.
Into the room, and then that's whenever they're up that window, and at this point we see the neighbor is like
Yeah,
Owen,
I did like
right?
the sweet. This is where we also realize about the eggs. So it was like the mom sitting there looking under the door, and she's like telling them we have to wait until morning and everything's gonna be all right. And then she starts like breaking down, and I was like, she's definitely more so trying to convince herself at this point, I think.
that they're gonna be okay.
But then the sweet little girls come and they pile onto her, and they're crying.
Yeah.
They're all crying together, and she's trying to make sure no one's getting to the door. And then that's when she picks the egg out of Maddie's hair and is like, oh right, the fucking car.
Yeah.
So she has to go down there, and but at this point I was like, you think he didn't break the other car too?
Yeah,
At this, like, he's done so many other things.
there's no
Of
way
course
out.
the other car
There's-
is going to be broken.
Yeah,
It wasn't, but
surprisingly.
yeah. And so, but I was like, that's pretty sad that she has, at this point she has to go down there to get the keys. But yeah, that was and she tells the little girls to wait in the closet and count down to 20 and she'd be back. And that closet scene's pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Having to look out through those little, it was like a wicker, a woven,
So you just see
like
through
a
like
caning,
holes.
yeah, little holes. And
Kind of like what I would like priest, like when you go to the priest, almost kind of like that.
yeah,
For confession or whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
Catholic. I don't know.
me neither.
But yeah. So at this point, so she's out there and she's trying to get to the car, right?
Yeah, so she goes and she gets the things, and then she comes back up to get the girls. And I put like, come on, y'all, the best bet is to just wait it out.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. But yes, and then they're hearing somebody rummaging downstairs.
And
I was
she's like, get
"Please,
out of
please,
my
please,
house.
let it
That's
be
right.
Owen." Because we did get a pan up of his car rolling up earlier.
Yeah.
So we know that possibly Owen could be here.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not him inside the house. That person just goes away. And yes, now we're looking out the window.
And then we're looking out the window. Now we see Owen coming up and he's walking up and he's like, he honks, right? Someone honks. Is it him honking? He honks because he's like, and then he hops out of his truck and he's just like, what's happening? And he starts walking up. And finally
Yeah.
he sees her at the window after he's flashing the flashlight. Strong ass flashlight, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
And so then at that
And of
point,
course,
she's like,
banging on it,
God, she's
and he
banging
can't
on
hear.
it. He can't hear. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. And then, of course, the killer is right behind him. And it's the way that, like,
He's
up
like,
until
"What?"
the last minute, she finally decides to break that damn window with her elbow. And I'm just like, God damn, fuck. Like, you couldn't have done that, like, 30 seconds earlier. Like,
Yeah.
it probably would have saved his life. And
of
yours.
course, the fucking window wasn't opening and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's just 2 seconds too late. She yells behind you, and then so Owen turns around into the axe, into
Yeah.
his face.
Literally dead.
As Johnny Boy is swinging it.
It was good practical effects.
Yeah, I actually did like that little kill.
Yeah, it
And
was good.
I feel like it did come with a nice, like a
Yeah, the sound effect.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's he's dead. She broke the window. They're freaking out. I have my notes as right here. Oh, the killer wrote their own book. What is that?
Oh yeah, so I feel like he just
Like,
wanted
I
a
skipped something
friend. But yeah, so they get back downstairs. The power's back on as they run downstairs again. And at this point, the mom's like, they're in the kitchen trying to figure something out. She looks over. The doll is fucking sitting there on top of the children's book.
Yeah,
And but he's just a children's book artist, y'all.
illustrator.
But he essentially tells his whole evil plan. I was like, boy, you can't ever tell your whole story like that. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, bacon face buddy. Let's go.
She's reading the book, and it's the way that this is just the most exciting part for me throughout the whole movie. And I don't know if I'm about to jump a few seconds or frames, but whenever she's in front of that door.
Yeah, because it happens right after that.
Okay, yeah.
And so, because she just got done reading it, and then she's basically like, we have to get out of here. And so she's trying to get through the window, and then
she's at the front door. It's a large window.
Nightmare
and
on
then
Elm Street
literally
style.
my note. Damn, mom just got yoinked like the mom from Nightmare on Elm Street by Freddy.
but
So
not
she
quite
gets-
as comical
yeah.
with her little feet trying
And
to
it
fit
was
through
such a good shot though. Like he breaks through the window, yoinks her outside.
It was so
It's
fast.
crazy. Yeah.
I was like, damn. I was like, oh shit, they got mommy. But they had fake doll mommy though on the ground in
Yeah,
there
they
with
did.
them. So,
They were
oh
good.
yeah,
They were
because
covered.
he didn't even break the window. The window was already broken from the mom
That's
doll
right,
being
yeah.
thrown through
and
it.
he just like pulled her out. Yeah.
He was waiting there, real creepy like.
Yeah. And at this point after that I put, oh my God, these kids deserve to get murdered. I don't know why.
So, well, Kayla grabs the fucking knife, and I was like, what the hell? And then she says, do you want to hold the knife?
So little
And
Maddie.
the Knick Knack Paddywhack song is now playing over some speakers. And then she asked Maddie if she wants her to hold,
I'm like,
to hold the
don't
knife.
give
This knife is
this-
literally the size of her thigh.
literally so huge. And
It
like, you're
was
gonna give this little girl
half of
this
her
knife.
body.
She's already sick.
Yeah, and then she's like, "You want me to go first?" I was like, "Bitch, if you going first, you need the fucking knife,
Yeah.
or get a second smaller knife for Maddie."
So these little hoes, they're going out, they're walking out, they're
The way she's running with a knife,
Mm-hmm.
she's just swinging it around. I said,
I'm like, they're gonna get hurt.
"Oh no!"
But they end up finding the vehicles, right?
Sorry. Yes, yeah. So the music
dad's
is
vehicle.
coming from the dad's vehicle.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they're in there. They see the little gift wrapped boxes in the back and stuff, and they're like, "What the hell?" And then they hear thudding coming from the
Trunk.
yeah. So they go to investigate, and I was like, "Please, please, 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 let this mom be alive." And she was.
That's mom. Yeah, and she was alive. But it's the way that as soon as we find out she's alive, here comes Killer Man. Right
Also,
behind.
when the daughter went to go cut the tape off of her mouth, she
Oh,
takes that
yeah.
giant ass knife, and I was like,
I
"Oh,
thought she
she's
was
gonna
like
cut her."
stab her.
Yeah, I did
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
like-
I was like, this is bad.
This little girl's not coordinated enough for this.
But she cuts off the tape over her mouth, and the mom's screaming, and then
Like, get away, run.
yeah, and as
because
soon as the kids run away or like get out of the way, Axeman comes back, John, and fucking just axes her right in the
hip
stomach,
bone.
hip bone, belly. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
I was
yeah.
like, I put ouchie.
Oh yeah, that looked like it fucking hurt.
And then they're running, and then now they've seen dad.
Yeah, so the kids are scared, freaking out. They run back to the house, and it's like as soon as they're walking up the front porch, they run into their dad's dead body.
Yep.
And it's the way his eyes are all gouged out, and I'm just like, oh, these kids. That's where I put my note. I'm like, they're gonna be traumatized forever.
Yeah.
They're gonna not be okay.
It's yep.
And so dad's dead.
The
They
KK's holding Maddie, saying it's not dad, it's just a trick. And I was like, oh, that's so sad.
and they go inside and they pick the worst hiding spot
They really do.
ever.
And I at this point I was like, can't wait for the boss ass bitch moment where mama pulls the axe out of her side and kills this motherfucker. I really thought that was gonna happen.
yeah.
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah. I have a note later on that
Happens-ish,
I'll
yeah.
get to. But
yeah, so they're hiding in the bedroom. They go upstairs and they're like underneath this bed, and I'm just like, why would you hide under the bed?
I
That's like
put
the most
that's
obvious. and,
literally
like,
the first place
so
I would look.
check literally. And so, especially with little kids, and so yeah, John.
I put now that I need some sort of trap door or something under my bed because I am a little fucking paranoid
little
after
cubby
this.
hiding spot.
Yeah, I need some sort of safe route, safe place that I can hide for when
At
all
all
these
times.
murderers
Come
come
after you.
at my house.
And so so John comes in and he's in the house now. He's actually now going, and it's the way that they ran upstairs, right? And they left all the doors open behind them.
They
didn't lock
closed the
anything.
one bedroom door, but yeah,
They
they didn't lock it.
Yeah. And so he just gets in there and he just sits on the bed and he's having a conversation with them. He's like, it's okay to be scared.
I put at this point, I was like, he's hikey kind of fit. That's probably from lugging all those dolls around. But I was
Literally.
like,
He's been living in the woods. He's been living in the woods.
Man in the woods. I didn't like his little talking monologue.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, why is he talking?
Just kill him, bro.
Yeah.
Just kill him.
And then
Because at this point, he's just kind of talking to them. He's like, I never understood I I never got the answer right to that book.
Yeah,
And
but I was
then-
wrong, just like you.
And then he says
He says
something
the
like,
darkness is me.
and literally, and like lifts the bed as if those memes when people like flip tables, and the bed literally does just like flip.
flies.
Oh my god, like the strength.
I
like
mean,
it just
he's
flies.
like I said, he's fit. But
And-
I lost my shit. I was like actually laughing.
I am the darkness.
The
It's very Bane
Yeah,
from like
exactly. I was
The
like,
Dark
what
Knight
is this,
Rises.
Batman? Like, come
And so
on.
he literally, and then at this point, he had put this little jar of like, and it's the way I already knew. I was like, oh, oh man, puts a little napkin in there, a
I
little
thought it was like
handkerchief.
moonshine.
No,
It's fucking
it's
chloroform.
chloroform, and he just chloroforms this little girls as they're screaming and
Yeah.
kicking, and it's like very like, oh my god, this is fucking traumatic. And I put chloroform these little girls. Wow.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we're back outside. Little girls are like knocked out.
We see that
on
the
the
mom has
lawn.
never gotten up, and I was like,
So we think she's dead,
uh-huh.
and so he's
Well, it
basic-
still shows her. I think.
in
So
the trunk, right?
yeah, it shows her in the trunk, and
Mhm.
she's like spitting up blood and stuff. You know, like kind of sputtering, but she's not dead.
Yeah.
And then he walks off from her after he takes the axe from her hip, and I was like, boy, come on, I was like, you can't walk
Everybody
off before
needs
you
to
know.
double tap,
Yeah.
whether you're the murderer or trying to kill the murderer.
Exactly. I
Double
was like,
taps.
you can't walk off before you know that your victim is dead.
Yeah.
And then he leaves his axe in the ground, which I thought, again, would come into play as he was checking on the girls, but it didn't. So
No.
I did like how many times they faked me out
Mhm.
because there was a lot of predictable routes they could have gone.
Yeah.
But I was like, you can't just leave your axe lying around either. I was like, you are going to get hit with this axe.
And then we have just basically the girls are knocked out. He's then like measuring their eyeball sockets with his knife because then he's gonna go carve out the dolly. So I'm assuming he can take out their eyes and put them in there.
And then you see like
Kaylee wakes up
you see the dad's doll is already
Oh, yeah,
completed. It's
yeah.
got two
His-
eyeballs,
and
his arms
Mm-hmm.
are sewn onto it.
Yeah, and I think his legs too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And Kaylee wakes up and she's like having to play this like, I'm not awake, I am awake, because he keeps looking back at them. And then she's trying to wake up her little sister when at this point, I think that's whenever the mom, she comes in.
Yeah, so he's already measured the eyeballs, and then he
Yeah.
took off he said, no more cloth arms, it's real arms time.
Oh, that's right.
and
And so he's
he's-
going to cut.
Yeah, he's like
Little girl's arm.
measuring her arm.
Mm-hmm.
And Homegirl's playing it remarkably calm for still being passed the fuck out. Or for not.
for
being awake.
Yeah, and she's just pretending to be dead,
And
Or
he
sleep.
literally is like,
about to axe her.
lifts the axe above his head, and then you hear the music box.
Yep. And that's whenever, like mom set off the music box, he goes and finds it in the trunk
Mm-hmm.
of the vehicle. And that's whenever she comes in from behind him and just starts attacking him.
Yeah, said, ooh, fuck, come on, mama, let's kick his ass.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he's like, the way he was crouching as he was like going to investigate, I was like, bitch, you were the fucking mass murderer here.
Literally.
Like, why are you like,
Oh, how the tables
you-
have turned.
creeping around like that, boy? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm also surprised he could hear that with how his ears were all
Mhm.
wrapped up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was a little bit confused.
And so we have this really epic fight between mom and John.
Mm-hmm.
Like super epic. One where I'm just like, okay, where did she all of a sudden get all this strength from? Whereas like, I'm sure it's the adrenaline and like all that, but I mean like she really held up her own.
Yeah.
And like got like thrown around and like I don't think she didn't get stabbed, did she?
No, I think he just like, I think he
was
kind of like,
pushing her back,
Yeah.
because she had the axe at this point and was like just hacking at him, but he tried to get it away from her a few times actually. And it's the way at a certain point I thought like, oh man, no, she's gonna die. Like he's gonna
oh
get
no,
her.
yeah. I there was until she hits him in the back with that axe,
Mhm.
I thought
She's gonna
she
die.
was gonna get
Yeah.
killed because it like really started not going her way for a second, and then finally she kicks him back and then gets him in the back, and he kind of goes down. But I was like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
But anyways, she runs off to go get the daughters, and it's like, oh yay, they're safe. We got this nice glowy sunrise shot. You know,
And they're
Kayla's got Maddie awake.
driving off, but of course Kaylee looks back and where's the murderer?
Yep, and it ends with the same little rhyme again. It's coming in as they're trying to go away, and then the engine sputters to a stop too. It stops, and then it comes back, and so I was like, ooh. So
You're like, whoa. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, KK looks back, and it says at one point it said something like the mouse guessed right and the crow flew away. I wish the mom would have reversed and ran over this
Yeah,
motherfucker.
that would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah. But yeah, he's disappeared, and I was like, the way that the poem was going or something, it says like, you have to be sure or he'll like,
find you.
He'll find you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when KK goes, where is he? And then so they're just kind of keep driving off, and then it ends, which I kind of liked that ending because it's like, well, we don't know. They could literally die.
They can die within the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he could just keep chasing him for the rest of their lives because he's already been watching them for a long time.
I think maybe the creator made this with like the intention of like, well, if it gets picked up, I can make a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it needs a sequel.
No, it doesn't. My final note.
Yes,
These girls are going to be psychos.
They are going to be me.
That sounds like a good title for a film. These girls are going to be psychos.
I would watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's he's out there.
Yeah. I was about to say not that title. I was like about to say Don't Breathe. I'm like, that's the wrong movie. Wrong film, you guys. He's out there. He's still there.
He is still there. So how many boos?
I'm going to give this movie like 2 boos.
2 boos.
2 boos. I mean, and it's not like horrible.
Yeah, because you had messaged me and you were like, "Have you watched it?"
I really liked
and
it.
I was like, "No."
Like I liked it. I mean, in hindsight now, talking about certain things, it's like, okay, yeah. But no, I enjoyed it. Like I thought it was a good little thrill ride. It actually kept me like thoroughly like because it's also it's literally like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that's also why I love a good hour and a half movie because it's like I feel like once they get like that 2 hour 2:22 like mark, I'm like I'm investing a lot of time there. Yeah, but an hour and a half, I can give an hour and a half.
Sweet spot.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yes, it is.
The sweet spot is a movie that's an hour and 26 minutes.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. No, that would be a sweet spot. Like the hour and 26. I feel like, yeah.
I thought you were telling me that was an actual movie. I was like,
no.
Oh, sorry. I'm so dumb.
Okay, your boo.
My boo. Yeah, like you were saying, I was invested in a lot of it. There was just a lot that I was like,
Yeah.
I really liked the overall premise, and like maybe I wouldn't mind seeing a redone version of this with like the same dude, in which they just use
bigger
less
actors,
cheesy approaches.
Mary-Kate and Ashley as the little girls.
Yes. Turn it back in time.
Yes.
I would.
Could you
They'd be
imagine?
like there with their little
spyglass,
yeah. Like,
monocle.
let's see how we can figure out this murder.
Mary-Kate and Ashley take
and
on
then
murder.
we'll go to Paris.
Literally.
I would give it, probably.
You can give it less than a 2.
I've never done that, but I really liked like the guy's face. I did like that.
The masking was
didn't
good.
like how he talked. I didn't like the filter. I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah,
You heard it here first, you guys.
Yeah, pretty low, but I mean, it's still enjoyable enough to watch. Like, I'm not mad that I watched this film, and I'm not like this was a colossal waste of my time because it wasn't.
Yeah, if anything, I just like I said, I really wanted to like find something that like I hadn't seen before, and it did. Like it delivered exactly that. I hadn't seen it before, so
yeah,
now I've seen it. But yeah,
overall,
not mad at it.
Not too shabby. So, anyways, as always, we are in the lovely, lovely, lovely Rogue Media Network studios.
Yes,
they take phenomenal care of us.
They really do. Make sure you listen to all the other shows they got going on.
Yeah, so many. Like Poltergals is real fun. Just little bite-sized ghost stories for you. I was listening to that last night.
Oh, beautiful.
As I was, what was I doing? Oh, I was cooking. Yeah, there we go.
It's always a great time to listen to podcasts when you're cooking. And you can find us on wherever you like to find your podcasts at, which could be.
I listen to most of mine on Apple, iTunes.
And I listen to mine on Spotify.
There you go.
But
we've got both sides of the podcasting tracks here.
It's a gradient.
You can also find us on a lot of other podcasting platforms, wherever you want to. We'll be there. If you do listen to us, though, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Please do so, because we would love to hear from you.
Only way we can get ahead. Promise ya.
And we would also...
You can find us on exactly one social media platform.
We are on at BooBaes Podcast.
That's right. And that's on Instagram. And it's all...
One word, BooBaes, Baes, and that's not babes. Because
Where you're baes, not your babes. Sorry.
I know, it's okay. I think I might have fucked that up.
Well, you said Bay AES.
Oh man.
I loved it though.
Hey, there
That's
we go.
how you said nope. Okay.
Anyways,
can't
we
talk.
like to have fun here.
Well,
All right, you guys.
It's been fun. How blah blah. We've got 2018. He's out there. 2 and a 1.5 from your BooBaes. So until next time.
Bye, bays.
Bye, babe.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what,